time jump program. Opening the vortex.
Welcome to another episode of Really Robots. I'm your host, Tommy J. Houseman. This is episode 3, and we're going to dig just a little bit deeper, but we're going to get more specific right now. We're going to talk about what kind of robots, what their names are, and what their capabilities are. And before we get to our special AI hosts, I just want to read you a list of some of the robots' names and who they're created by. It's a long list, but I think it's going to solidify my point, and this is not all of them. So we have Amica from Engineered Arts, Alter 3 from Osaka University and MIXI, Apollo from Optronic. We have Armar 6 from Karlsruhe Institute of Technology, Astrobot S1, Stardust Intelligence, Atlas from Boston Dynamics, Beyondme from Beyond Imagination, Digit from Agility Robots, the ones that are in Salem, Washington, Eve from 1X, the ones that are already in homes, Figure 02 from Figure, GR2 from Furier Intelligence, Isaac from Weave Robotics, Jiajia, University of Science and Technology of China, so that might be Gigi, Kimi from Mako Robotics, Nadine from Nanyang Technological University, Nao or NAO from SoftBank Robotics, 1X Neo from 1X Technologies, Ocean 1K, Stanford Robotics Lab, Optimus, Tesla Bot Gen 2 from Tesla, Pepper from SoftBank Robotics, Phoenix from Sanctuary AI, Promobot from Promobot, Punyo from Toyota Research Institute, RoboThespian from Engineered Arts, Robonaut 2 from NASA and General Motors, Sophia from Hanson Robotics, Serena 4 from University of Tehran, Walker from Ubitech Robotics, and 4NE1 from Neuro Robotics. Now, mind you, this is not all of them. These are just the ones that I listed out and found and tried to compile a good list. And these are all humanoid robots. So I'm going to get into a couple specifics, and we'll talk more about what's going on in the world with robots. Now, 1X Technologies in Norway, I mean, these are the guys we're going to have to really watch. So the 1X Neo, this robot is being developed by 1X Technologies, a company focused on creating intelligent humanoids for domestic use. 1X claims to be the first company to send an AI-powered humanoid robot into the workforce, and that's pretty accurate. I found a couple beta phases, but theirs is ready to go. Neo is designed to function seamlessly in home environments, performing tasks with human-like dexterity and intelligence. The robot is 165 centimeters tall and weighs about 30 kilograms, making it one of the lighter humanoid robots on the market. Neo is equipped with 5-fingered hands, giving it a level of precision uncommon in many other robots. The robot also utilizes actuators that mimic human muscles, giving Neo smooth, graceful movements, making it safe when interacting with humans. Neo uses embodied learning, which combines robotics with AI, allowing it to learn from its surroundings and continuously improve its skills. The robot can understand natural language commands and adapt to different tasks as needed. Neo can walk at speeds up to 4 kilometers per hour and can even run at speeds reaching 12 kilometers per hour. Neo features soft, compliant construction with padded areas, ensuring safe interactions with humans, making it suitable for use around children and pets. The robot also has the ability to interpret gestures, body language, and voice commands without needing specific verbal instructions, making interactions feel more natural and intuitive. Neo is currently in the beta phase, with limited units being deployed in selected homes for research and development purposes. 1X Technologies plans to scale production at their factory in Moss, Norway, with the goal to make Neo a common presence in consumer households within a few years. There is no cost information available right now, But while they are currently, they're in testing phase, but they already have them in the workforce, and they already have them in homes. So they're one of the more ambitious companies to get this going before everybody else. If you want to talk about the Tesla bot, the Gen 2 Optimus, I think this is the closest thing to the 1X. So it's being developed by Tesla, and of course, I don't trust Elon Musk at all. So, but we're not really going to get into that. But Tesla has created a pretty awesome robot, and I don't know how close they are to mass producing this thing, but here's a little bit more about it. It's being developed by Tesla. The Gen 2 model is 10 kilograms lighter than the previous version and moves 30% faster. It has an improved, more agile build that comes with improved balance and full body control, allowing for greater mobility. Tesla Bot Gen 2's hands have been upgraded with 11 degrees of freedom, enabling it to handle delicate tasks. Tesla has equipped the Gen 2 Optimus with advanced sensors and actuators, which provide precise control and tactile sensing capabilities. Gen 2 Optimus is primarily designed for industrial settings where precision and safety are paramount. The Gen 3 version is expected to have completely new design with lighter materials and faster movements. Potential new features include speakers and voice system for communication. Small-scale production is planned for 2025 with a wider availability by 2026. Elon Musk has even suggested that the Optimus could have a greater impact on Tesla's market value than its automotive business. There is no cost information yet, but I did read something that is going to be around $16,000 to $25,000, or just going to lease them out to companies. So how the model that I believe Tesla is going to go with is they're going to deploy them into manufacturing and industries, manufacturing, maybe agriculture even, and they're going to lease them out as like an hourly employee. So when he says that they think that it's going to be more valuable than their cars, he's absolutely right. These don't cost very much to make. He can make them a whole lot of them very easily. He can then use the robots to make the robots, and then they're going to make a whole bunch of money really quick, because manufacturing companies will pay for these because they'll save a whole lot of money by not having to pay real humans, because they don't have to pay for insurance, they don't have to pay the taxes. So, of course, they'll pay a robot $25 an hour to do the job of 4 humans. So we're going to talk more about that later, but we're going to get back into just talking about these specific robots. That's all I have to say about the robots today. I'm going to turn it over to my AI-powered hosts, and you can hear what they have to say about the situation. And then I'll catch you back on episode 4. So here you go, my AI friends. Thank you.
Humanoid robots, they used to be like pure science fiction, right? Well, you guys asked for a deep dive into just how real they are becoming, and honestly, it's kind of blowing my mind.
Yeah, forget those clunky robot toys of the past.
Exactly. We're talking about like seriously sophisticated machines here with the potential to, I don't know, maybe even reshape our whole world. So we've got a recent YouTube video with a whole roundup of the latest robot models. It's really cool. And we've also got this article from Built In that talks about how companies are already using these robots for real work.
It's incredible. Talk about an exciting time to be following this field, right? The projected market growth alone is like staggering.
Really?
Yeah.
How much are we talking about here?
From $1.8 billion this year, they're saying, to over $13 billion by 2028.
No, hold up. $13 billion.
Yeah, that's what they're projecting.
Wow. That's not just people showing confidence. That's like a giant hell yes from the entire market.
Exactly.
So it's not all hype then. You're saying this is the real deal. Didn't the built-in article mention something about real-world applications? Or am I remembering that wrong?
You're totally right. Absolutely. This isn't just like those research labs anymore where they're just tinkering around. We're talking about seeing humanoid robots popping up everywhere, like in hospitality, education, even deep-sea exploration.
Deep-sea exploration. Come on, that's straight out of a movie.
I'm telling you, just imagine a robot going through a shipwreck, like collecting all this data in these crazy conditions that are way too dangerous for us, for human divers.
Okay, yeah, you're right. That is pretty wild. But I mean, even just seeing those robots in action on that YouTube video, I guess say that line between fiction and reality is getting really blurry.
Yeah.
Some of those designs and what they can do, it's seriously impressive. Like, how is all this even possible?
It's amazing, right? I mean, we're talking about the absolute cutting edge of engineering and AI, artificial intelligence, all coming together. What caught your eye? Anything in particular?
Honestly, I've got to go with that Astrobot S1. That thing stole the whole show for me. Clocking in at 10 meters per second, that's insanely fast, especially for a robot.
Right.
And especially one that can like pull off those delicate tasks like it was doing, like that tablecloth trick. And it did it without even like breaking a sweat or breaking a dish, I guess would be more accurate. So like what makes that kind of speed and precision possible?
So it's actually a bunch of different things all coming together. For one, you've got these advancements in something called actuator technology. So that's like all the motors and gears that let the robot move. And they're so much better now, they allow for much faster and smoother motion.
Okay, so the robot's muscles are getting a serious upgrade.
Exactly. But then there's also the software and sensors. It's incredibly sophisticated, allowing the robot to really understand what's around it and adjust on the fly in real time.
So it can react to anything, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Like that tablecloth trick, that wasn't just speed. That's what we call dexterity, being able to move those robot hands and manipulate objects with like almost human-like precision.
Dexterity. Got it. So we're talking fine motor skills, robot style. No more clunky claws. These things are using practically robot fingers. But where does this level of tech even lead us? What's the end game here?
That's the big question, isn't it? I mean, just think about the possibilities for fields like surgery.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Or manufacturing. Just imagine a robot that can perform these super delicate procedures with precision that's beyond any human surgeon. Or what about assembling these incredibly intricate parts super fast and with perfect accuracy every single time?
Okay, now we're talking about a whole new level. This isn't just robots making things easier. It's like a total game changer.
Yeah.
But hang on a second. Not all the robots in that video were about being super speedy or agile, were they? What about the Tesla bot? Or was Optimus? That one seemed way more about raw power and, well, honestly, it felt a little bit more of a potential disruption, if you ask me.
Well, yeah, the Tesla bot, Optimus, that's a very interesting one. It's fascinating because it shows this big push towards like general purpose robots. So a lot of robots are designed with a very specific job in mind. But Tesla, they're envisioning Optimus being able to do it all, from chores around the house to heavy industrial work.
Hold on, wait. So instead of having one robot for surgery and another one for exploring the ocean floor, we're talking about robots that can like do it all.
That's their goal.
Now that is a serious game changer if they can pull it off.
Right. And you know Tesla, they're known for aiming high and pushing the limits of what's possible. Though their approach with this one, well, let's just say not everyone's convinced. Yeah, some experts are, let's just say, skeptical about how realistic it is to create a truly general-purpose robot, one that can actually match the way humans can adapt to anything and use, common sense.
Yeah, true. Because, I mean, there's a huge difference between programming a robot to do one very specific task in a controlled setting versus being able to navigate a chaotic grocery store or like a busy kitchen.
Exactly. And that's where all that development of advanced AI really comes into play. Which brings us to another crazy example from the video, the Figure 02. You remember that one?
Oh, yeah. The one that can, like, practically hold a conversation with you. Yeah, that was mind-blowing. It really felt like we were suddenly a lot closer to those sci-fi robots we've seen in the movies.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly things are developing. The Figure 02 is using this cutting-edge natural language processing. Basically, it lets it understand us and talk back to us in a much more nuanced way. It's not just about pre-programmed responses anymore. These robots are actually starting to learn and adapt how they communicate based on the interaction they're having.
Okay, so we've gone from, hey, robot, can you take out the trash?
Yeah.
To actually having a conversation.
Yeah.
That is a huge G jump.
It really is.
How does that even work?
Well, the Figure 02 uses technology from OpenAI. They're a leading AI research company. And what they're doing is they're integrating these super powerful language models, kind of like the tech behind those chatbots and virtual assistants, but it's like way more advanced. This lets the robot understand what you mean, your intention, and even come up with its own responses, which makes it feel a lot more natural, a lot more like a real conversation.
Wow, so less robotic and more like talking to an actual person. Though that opens up a whole other can of worms, doesn't it? Right now, we're not just talking about robots being more efficient or automating things. We're talking about robots that could actually interact with us on a social level.
You got it. And that's where this whole conversation about humanoid robots, it becomes a lot bigger. It's not just about the technical stuff anymore. It's something way more complex. It makes you think about the nature of intelligence, consciousness, like, what is all that? And then, of course, there's the question of what role these robots will ultimately play in our lives.
I don't know about you, but the idea of robots actually being able to understand us and talk back like that is kind of wild, right? It makes you wonder, like, how far can they really take this? If we're already seeing robots this advanced, what's next?
Right. That's the million-dollar question. And the really exciting part is we're just scratching the surface. That YouTube video was amazing, but it was really just a glimpse of what's out there, what's being developed right now.
Okay, now you've got me on the edge of my seat. What else is in the works? What kind of crazy robot stuff are they cooking up in those labs?
Well, one trend I'm really interested in is this push to make interactions with robots even more human-like. And I'm not just talking about robots understanding our commands. I'm talking about robots that respond to us in a way that feels, intuitive, maybe even empathetic.
Hold up. Empathetic robots. Okay, now that sounds like we're going full on sci-fi. What do you mean empathetic?
So there's this robot, GR2. It's being developed by a company called Fourier Intelligence, and their whole thing is creating robots that can actually read and respond to human emotions.
Wait, back up. Robots that can read emotions. How is that even possible?
They're using these advanced sensors and AI algorithms that can pick up on really subtle cues in human behavior. Like, I'm talking about microexpressions, tone of voice, even body language. And then the GR2 takes all that information and adjusts its own behavior.
So let me get this straight. If I'm having a bad day, feeling frustrated or whatever, this robot would actually pick up on that.
That's the idea.
Wow. That's incredible. But it's also a little bit creepy. Like, what are the use cases for something like that?
Well, think about it. Feels like healthcare. Elder care. Imagine a robot that could not only help with day-to-day tasks, but could also provide emotional support, like recognizing when someone's feeling down and just, being there, being present.
Okay, yeah, that could be revolutionary, especially for people who are isolated or maybe struggling with their mental health. But it does make you wonder, like, how much do we really want to rely on robots for that kind of emotional support?
It's a slippery slope. Right. I mean, it's something we really need to be thinking about. As robots become more integrated into our lives, we need to think carefully about the impact that'll have on human connection, our social dynamics.
For sure. And speaking of impacts, I can't help but think about the economic side of all this. Like, it's great to imagine robots helping us with chores and stuff or keeping us company. But what about jobs? Are we all going to be out of work when robots take over?
That's the billion-dollar question. And honestly, nobody really knows for sure. I mean, it's something people are debating a lot. There are some experts who say, look, robots will actually create more jobs than they eliminate. That it'll lead to new industries, new opportunities.
New industries? How so?
Well, somebody's got to design these robots, right? Build them, maintain them. So, yeah, they're saying there's going to be this huge demand for new skills, new job roles.
Okay, so instead of factory workers, we'll need, like, robot mechanics and AI programmers. I get it. But what about everyone else? I mean, what about the people who don't have those skills or the resources to, go back to school and learn all that?
It's a really important point. And this is where, governments and education systems, they have a really important role to play. We've got to make sure that people have access to the training and support they'll need to navigate this new job market.
It's like we're standing at the beginning of a whole new world, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just about the technology, it's about how we adapt to it.
Absolutely.
As individuals, as a society. And part of that adaptation, I think, is being willing to ask some tough questions, ethical questions.
Couldn't agree more.
So let's go there. What are some of the big ethical concerns people are raising about this whole rise of the robots?
Well, we've touched on one already, job displacement. But it goes even deeper than that. What happens if the benefits of all this automation aren't distributed fairly? Could it actually widen the gap between the haves and the have-nots?
Okay, yeah. It's not enough to just create robots. We have to make sure that the robot revolution benefits everyone, not just a select few. What else?
Another big one is autonomy. Decision-making. Robots are becoming more sophisticated, right? And they're starting to take on roles where they might have to make independent decisions, like in healthcare or even security. So how do we make sure that the choices they make align with our values, with human ethics?
That's a great point. I mean, we talked about robots recognizing human emotions, but a robot actually making life or death decisions, that's a whole other level.
It is. And then there's the whole issue of privacy. All these robots, they're equipped with cameras and microphones, sensors. They're going to be gathering tons of data about us. So how do we make sure ensure that data is used responsibly, ethically? How do we protect people's privacy?
Man, these aren't just hypothetical questions anymore, are they? This is really happening.
Nope. It's real. The robots are here.
They're here.
And they're not going away. In fact, there are only going to be more of them. Remember Digit from the video?
Digit, oh yeah. The one that looked like it was ready to, take over a warehouse job.
Exactly. It's designed to do all those tasks that are really physically demanding. Unloading trucks, moving heavy packages, jobs that can be dangerous for humans.
Okay, so it's more efficiency, fewer workplace injuries, that's the upside. But the potential downside, job displacement. It's a tough one.
It really is. And it just shows how important it is to really think this through, to consider not just what robots can do, but how it's all going to play out in the real world, what the consequences might be.
I think you're right. We need to be having these conversations, both the good and the bad. Because let's be real, this tech is changing fast. It's like that saying, right? We shape our tools and then our tools shape us. I think we're at this crazy point in history where we actually have a chance to shape how this all unfolds, how these robots will impact our world. It's a lot to take in. The speed at which everything's moving, all the potential, but then all the ethical stuff too. It's like we woke up in a whole new world.
It really is a lot. And honestly, that's why these deep dives are so important, right? It's not about having all the answers. It's about looking at the big picture and asking the tough questions.
So where do we even go from here? I mean, how do we make sense of all this? What are the key takeaways for us as we try to navigate this whole crazy, rapidly evolving robot landscape?
Well, I think the most important thing is to stay informed, stay engaged. The more we understand these technologies, the better equipped we'll be to make good decisions about them.
Yeah, but that's easier said than done, right? This whole thing is moving so fast. How can we even keep up?
You're not wrong. It can feel overwhelming. But there are resources out there. Good tech publications, research from universities, even just conversations like this one, they all help.
Okay, so knowledge is power. Got it. What else?
I think it's important not to just accept everything you hear at face value. There's going to be a lot of talk about all the amazing things humanoid robots can do, how efficient they are, how they'll solve all our problems, all that. But we need to remember to look at the other side of the coin, too. The potential downsides, the unintended consequences.
Right, like we were saying before, job displacement, the ethics of AI decision-making, data privacy. These are all really important issues. We can't just pretend they don't exist.
Exactly, and that's why it's so crucial to have different voices involved in this whole process. It can't just be the tech people. We need ethicists, social scientists, policymakers, everyday people. Everyone needs to have a seat at the table.
Collaboration is key. This isn't about being afraid of the future. It's about creating the future we want.
Well said. Now, before we wrap things up, I want to leave you with one final thought. We've talked a lot about how robots might change the workforce, but what about our personal lives?
Okay, now you've got me curious.
Just imagine for a second that robots like the 1X Neo, you remember that one? The one designed specifically for people's homes. What if those robots became as common as smartphones? What would that mean for our everyday lives, our families, how we spend our time?
I don't know. That's a really interesting question. Would we embrace the freedom from all those everyday chores, or would we start to miss some of those things? It's kind of like we're choosing our own adventure, but for the whole future of humanity.
And that's what makes this so fascinating. The future isn't set in stone, it's something we create. The decisions we make today about these robots, about AI, they will shape the world for generations to come.
It really makes you think. This has been an incredible journey, exploring the world of humanoid robots. It's awe-inspiring and a little bit scary all at the same time. A huge thanks to our listeners for joining us on this deep dive. Keep those questions coming, and until next time, stay curious.